we have people who was being treated, and they was coming out and telling us, man, I went to the psychiatrist, but he told me he couldn't take me no further. So it became peer support became a necessity, and that's what we do. So we say it got to be us helping us since we know what need to be done. So we use informal methods to resolve problems that was addressing brothers every day, and we see the difference in it.
As I mentioned earlier, after serving so much time, that a long extensive sentence, I seen people that came home and returned back to prison, and it was perplexing to my mind for someone to come back after serving, in a place such as Angola, where it was, the condition wasn't humane. It was humane conditions that we was living up under. So upon coming home, I wanted to find out what's called recidivism. What causes that? What makes a person want to return back to a place such as that? So that's what I studied.
And I find that to be a fantastic statement, because so many other people have asked, well, he done 12 years. How do he get out after doing 12 years and go right back? And to me, I thought like maybe if they locked me up within an hour, I know I'm not coming back over here. So what did your research help you to determine?
That sometimes, it's the lack of understanding of society, and the society understanding you. We can feel like loners. We can feel like, people that's, now, you made the look as not being worthy of being out there, as far as going discriminatory practice being placed upon us, and other things, that I see.
Prison is a brutal experience. It's very brutal because mentally you're learning to adapt to things that are not common in society. Like, we don't have any privacy in prison. Like, your bathroom, you got people around you all the time, and that's something you have to adjust to. You shower in the shower, you have nothing but men in the shower. Like, that's not normal, but we have to live like that's a normal thing. Using the bathroom is not private. There's no privacy. So that psychologically affects you when you go into a prison setting and you have to be faced with this kind of thing. Then the stigma of what goes on in prison. You have rapes goes on in prison. You have all this negative mentality that goes on in prison. So when you understand this, coming into that situation, like when we came to prison, we seen guys get raped. We seen guys get taken advantage of. These things will affect you mentally.
In some cases, killed.
And killed. Like, when I first came to Angola, I witnessed my first murder. Like, I'm like, wow. I knew I was in the wrong place. But it was nothing I can do but adapt, and we have to find ways to cope with this. How I cope with it, I educated myself. I stayed away from the things in the prison that will keep me more confined to the prison. And as you talk with the rest of the guys, you will see that what we did, we took another approach into the way we did time.
Well, in the prison environment, you had to internalize a lot of things that was inhumane, because it had a stigma that if you told what happened, like you say, a guy got taken advantage of, and they come ask you what happened. You don't know, but you know. So that has to be internalized. You got to walk around with that burden, someone else's burden. You got to suppress it, because if you would speak up on it and speak the truth on it, which starts a healing process, and which is necessary at this time. A healing process starts with being truthful. So we had to suppress all that, and we brought it back out. People come back out to the street, still holding that stuff in them. And this is a release. When we get amongst one another, we can release it because we feel comfortable talking to one another about it, because we know each other, understand it. This is why peer support is so important.
And not just for that, for community. Community need to know.
That's right.
Community need to know when their loved ones come home. They need to know why some of their loved ones still using the shower to clean their clothes with the soap, and they got a washing machine. There's different aspects that they're not even conscious of that they're doing, that waking up early in the morning, And well, some people still sleep. You got guys in prison when you wake up 5 o'clock, you mowing the lawnmower. You can't come out here in this society waking up the whole neighborhood with a lawnmower going on, you know. But that's a normal reaction for guys coming home, like they think they're doing something right, you know. But at the same time, they're waking up the whole neighborhood, you know. So it's
Or you're waiting for the lights to get turned off, or you can get up and turn the light off yourself. You're waiting for them to become. So you leave the lights on all day. That's electric point. Out here, you just leaving your electric on. In the institution, that's dead for you. There's a time the lights go out, the lights will come on.
This is some serious trauma that we're hearing right now, and that we know about. Brother Tatum, Dad, can you please tell me what else it was that made you decide that the only way I'm going to continue to survive after seeing maybe different professionals is by starting my own group?
Well, that had a lot to do with understanding, you know, the problem that resided in us while incarcerated. And upon coming home, I recognized that the professional people out here, they was only addressing this from an angle of post-traumatic stress disorder, which is a close kinship to post-incarceration syndrome. But again, you know, anybody can be diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. Only those that have been incarcerated can actually be diagnosed with post-incarceration syndrome. And, you know, for the things that we bring back from prison, the habits that we had, like the brothers were speaking on, washing your clothes and not turning the lights off and all those things, you know, that's the residual effect of prison. That's the residue that we bring back. You know, those are the things that, you know, that the trauma that we don't even recognize, you know, which we use as vigilant, you know, is something that we need to survive. Coming back out here, we don't need that no more. But we're not aware of that. We still take one leg out of our shorts when we using the commode. You know, why? Because up there, if you get, you know, it was experience where a guy got killed while he was using the bathroom, and he couldn't get up because his underwear was wrapped around his knees and ankles. You know, but now we come out there and we're not in danger like that no more. But we find it to be more comfortable, you know, for us to continue doing like that, you know. So it's a lot of things that we do. It's just coming out of a habit, not recognizing that it's also trauma.
And to go into that a little deeper, like in prison, we are always in battle mode. We work out all the time because we never know when an attack is going to come from somewhere. We don't know this because sometimes we're around guys who suffer from mental health illnesses, and they can mistaken you for somebody that was an enemy 5 years ago, and you don't even know it. So you have to always be in some kind of physical shape to protect yourself. So in prison, there's always a lot of noise in the game rooms, in the eating areas, in the bedrooms where we sleep at. So you would notice a lot of guys from prison talk loud, and they have a very loud and aggressive mannerism. They don't really mean anything by this, but because of they're only responding to the condition that they've been under all these years. So if you have a loved one speaking to one in an aggressive manner, they're not seeing the loved one, they're seeing the reaction or the response like, whoa, you aggressive? So you gonna respond. And so you have to learn how to really manage that emotion. And that's what we do when we meet in groups. We talk about these things. They got some episodes that some of these guys, since they've been home, experienced that triggered them. And so they have to learn how to unlearn reactions that comes natural under those conditions.
And so in actuality, what we be doing in the prison, we use the informal method of psychology. We use a method that they didn't use in a normal. We didn't get the degree before coming out of prison. We were using these methods in prison. As two brothers was heated up, we may come talk to thee. Let's go take a walk. You may take a walk to resolve the problem. You may put some music on. Let's go to the mosque. Let's go to the church. We do things. Let's say the prayer. Get him out of that heated moment. And when he come back, he may thank you. Hey, man, you don't know how much you saved my life, man. You saved the life. I was gonna kill it. It's these environments, these moments that we are using a method of psychology that is not recognized. It's not recognized by those in position that says that's not psychology, but that is psychology in every sense of the word, because it's meeting the issue at hand and solving the problem. We're not treating the problem, we're solving it. So if we wanted to treat it, we could have given him some kind of pills or got him high.
Yes, indeed, and you all are experiencing this. But then, what about your girlfriends, your families, your wives? How does this play into the relationship?
Lord, it's like this. Coming home to your significant other or family member is a thing like, coming into a new place where when you come home, your family members, they're glad to see you. They embrace you. They, treat you like the welcome home that you deserve. But you're a stranger to these people. You're actually a stranger because all the things that you experience, all the Christmas and the Thanksgivings and the birthdays and the graduation that you missed, the new people coming into the life and your family that you miss, all those things make you become that much more distant from your family. And without even recognizing, they became distant towards you as well because they had things that they had to experience and endure while you wasn't there. They had problem-solving methods that they had to talk about while you wasn't there. So it's most indeed a challenging.
So another thing is what you have to realize. In prison, we learn to disassociate ourselves with emotions. Christmas never been the same for me. Holidays never was the same for me. It brought back too much painful memories to be in prison and to remember how I used to be among my family during this time. So what I did, I had to pull away from that emotion. So I never even today, I don't really celebrate my birthday, all these things. I disassociate my emotion with things that can make me feel worse in prison, because in prison there is really no joy. There is nothing to really celebrate. And the time I was in prison, it was all violent. And being an all violent situation, it was hard for me to even smile. It was hard to smile. So therefore, I was suppressing myself from smiling because people be looking at you in this environment and say, what you so happy for? I mean, what the world are you happy for? All this going on. So you have to kind of like watch how you even express your emotion. But one day I looked in the mirror and I seen my face and it scared myself. And that's when I made the decision that I have to reevaluate myself. I can't allow this environment to make me somebody that I don't feel like I am in the inside of myself. So I had to recreate myself. I had to have that courage to do what I had to do to push forward in this environment like I was in. And so these are the things that's rarely talked about. We don't go to the mental health place there. You know why we don't go to the mental health place in the prison? Because they stigmatize you. And what they do is they put you on medication to slow you down. And they use that every time something happens and you express yourself overly emotionally. If you get in a fight, oh, he's psychotic. Let's go put him up, shoot him up, and send him to TU. TU was an area at a time, it was a mental health area. Nobody wanted to get caught up there. So nobody really would authentically want to speak to a social worker and give their real feelings about how they really feeling.
In reference to family, family was family by DNA. But in relation to support, the people, the brothers you met in the institution and stood there for years and years with, that became the family. It became the extended family, we might call it, in the old word. They give you the support, they give you the things you need, they give you the help, they give you the ear. When you needed somebody to listen, you went and talked to Brother Shaheed. You need a brother to talk to Ikra. You went and talked to Rasheen. You did a lot of things that was necessary to do. You understand? And then people became your family because they fed you. You needed assistance, they gave it to you. You know, that was your family. Because a lot of families, like Tatum just pointed out, they had their own issues.
And so we are here with this fine panel of distinguished men and that are sharing their experience with you, and we also have also wanted to bring to the public about post-incarceration syndrome. Now, Brother Thad, you decided to bring it. You decided to form this group. What did you find in forming the group, the struggles with this group?
The challenges, being able to adapt back to the so-called civilized society. It's a lot of things that we was faced with that was, antiquated when we come back out here. Technology was the new thing. The culture that we once was used to had a total remake. It was a total thing that we would just find ourselves like out of, distant of understanding how this neighborhood was once like this, and now it's beyond my realms of understandings. The people, they were so much different from the people that I grew up around. The youngsters was more advanced than I was as far as being able to know this and that. In other words, you had so much accessibility to a lot of things, that we didn't have. We learned about trials and errors, and when I seen that the problem and the challenge that we were going to have coming back out here after being gone for 10, 20, 30, 40, we know guys that have been locked up to 60 years. So those guys coming back out here, those guys are out here, and they're like they in a twilight zone, So I understood, as well as a few more guys understood, that this cannot be addressed by the so-called psychologists that's in practice to understand what a problem is, because they was never aware, they were never taught from their books about post-incarceration syndromes.
That barrier is so serious psychologically that it's, for me, speaking for myself and watching other guys, like, it's easy to fall in depression out here and anxiety because for myself, I went to school and I struggled through school with depression because I didn't think I was doing enough because I still was suffering financially. And still after coming out of school, I had to think on terms of where I'm going to live. I didn't have a support system. Like some guys come home, they have a family that's been working a long time and they had everything set up for them and things they can do, but not me. I remember during COVID, my graduation year, 2020, I was homeless. I stood in my car for 20 days. I didn't have nowhere to go. And so, but I still bear through that. That's a big problem out here. The problem about not being able to have stable homes and a place to stay, like, because of your background. You go apply for an apartment or something to that minute, what they're gonna do is they're gonna tell you they're not gonna let you in because of your background. It's the same with college. I've been turned down good jobs because of the fact of my incarceration. They give me the opportunity to pay to go to school to earn a degree, but yet I don't want to go get the master's degree because what sense would it make for me to get the master's degree and I get to that point and they throw my record in my face? Then that's discouraging. So you have to work through all of that. The biggest thing is that you're set up for failure But if you fail yourself, you doomed. So you have to be embracing yourself in God to carry you through that.
In my opinion, fear and anxiety, the fear creates the anxieties that constitute that head towards recidivism. Because if a guy begins to feel that he can't find a job, he can't find resident, he can't do this, the word "I can't" begin to resonate in his spirit. And when he's saying "I can't," and that begins to resonate, now he sets himself out to fail. Mm-hmm. And that's what the whole system was designed to do from the jump street. So our point is us helping us. So we're trying to create these things to remove some of the barriers that create this mental problem. And the only way we can do that is addressing it from a truthful perspective.
That's right.
This is a live segment, community issues with our spectacular guest, and our topic is post-incarceration syndrome. And if you have a question or a comment, you can call us at 337-366-8951. 337-366-8951. And we're going to also put in multiple airings for this program to air again. And I know it's going to be on somebody's Facebook page. I'm not sure who, but you'll get a chance to get in touch back with us. This is part 1 of part 2. We're going to do part 2 right when we complete. So I know y'all have told different story of someone who made significant progress in healing from post-incarceration syndrome. Does it still stand true as we speak right now?
Sister Khadija, when you say progress, it stands from individual to individual, right? One cannot measure the progress of an individual by what he has and don't have. Because what you show, what you see in one individual may not be seen in another individual. So it depends on the trauma that you was able to endure and able to express and able to relieve yourself in manner in which that was productive to you during that time. We have a saying that the thing that you see brothers out there on the streets during the day, they was doing it in prison. You know, they was if they were studying, they were studying in prison. If they had organizations out here, most likely they had an organization in prison. It was the thing that is what you did as an individual. You cannot look for prison to rehabilitate you. You had to do that on yourself, for yourself. And if you was lucky enough, you know, you'd build a community of people that was able to recognize the struggle that y'all had to struggle together and make life better for each other.
And in the prison, first and foremost, was not really designed for rehabilitation. It was, and I don't even believe in rehabilitation because you can't rebuild something that ain't never was built from the start. I believe in transformation, you know, that's what's important. But the thing is that prison was built for only one thing, and that was for work, that was for punishment. They didn't even consider anything about education and all those things like that. That wasn't a factor, you know. So we have to always keep that in mind when it comes to what the prison was built for. And like Thad was saying, we had to take it upon ourselves to educate ourselves. If you didn't do that, because the prison was totally in darkness, there was a lot of murders, raping, violence, drug dealing, drug using. People were not worried about that at all. So, and matter of fact, if you was going to the education building or if you was going to the churches, you was looked at as weak. They was thinking that you want to come to prison now and learn. You want to get a GED now, you in jail now. Or you want to find God now, you in prison. This is the kind of ignorance, this was the mindset we had. So, and you have to be strong to fight through that. You have to be able to have something to come back with. And while you was doing what you're doing, you had to be strong enough in yourself to make those decisions for yourself. You know, people have a choice, and you either strong enough to make that choice, or you weak enough to follow the crowd.
Yes, and caller, thank you for holding on. Do you have a question or a comment for our distinguished panel? Our topic is discussing post-incarceration syndrome, PICS.
Yes, good afternoon. I really appreciate this show. It's much needed in this South Louisiana area and on this platform. What I want to say is a couple of, one or two comments, but the questions are, and bear with me, my brothers, and know where I'm going. It's no disrespect or insult. I want to ask, the whole notion of what prisons are stand for, do you think any one of you, if y'all want to answer, and I'm going to take y'all answer off air once I finish my commentary after the question, Sister Khadijah.
Not commentary.
Do you think the prison was, you guys were incarcerated in, whether it was in the state of Louisiana or out of state, it was designed more to punish as opposed to rehabilitate? Or do any one of y'all feel y'all were being rehabilitated and punished at the same time? And one of the things, even the rehabilitation, if some of y'all think it was rehabilitation, getting out of the being incarcerated, they should have done some follow-up or some separate agency to deal with any of the issues you guys might have coming out of being incarcerated. So if these prison systems that you guys feel are more designed more to punish more or to rehabilitate more, and what can you do to change things and give information to the community? Because I could tell you there are some people who might say, well, prison, that's what it's all about, to punish and to make people feel some sort of way so they won't do it again. And some people, frankly, just don't care. So I'd just like to get y'all honest opinion. I really appreciate y'all honesty. Sister Khadijah, you and Brother Shaheed, that's a great show. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your dissertation.
So I want to expound on that for you. As I said in the beginning, when prison was created, if you just do some research, you'll realize that prison was not created in the beginning for nothing more than for work and punishment. As our society progressed and we started realizing that there were some inhumane things going on in the prison system, that's when we started hearing people from the outside saying, we need to educate, we need to set up education systems and vocational systems for these guys. And that's when you started seeing those type of changes. But still, they were put in place, but they were not taken seriously like they're being taken today. Because now today, you have, like in Angola, you have a theological seminary. Guys can actually earn a degree. And as you remember, one time, we was able to take college courses, and some politicians decided that we in prison, we don't need to learn, and they shut that down. And then it came back again. So when you follow through with that, you understand exactly where the prison system was going as far as rehabilitation.
Prison in itself is particularly security orientated. The warden, he determined the medical field, the warden, assistant warden, and some laymen, they over the medical care. They have petitioned, guys have filed petition about their medical care. I mean, it's outrageous. You wouldn't believe it. I work with the FIT clinic, which is formerly incarcerated transitional clinic. And what happens here is that there are many things that take place in the medical field that was insufficient. Everything brought into the code. The code found it that it was insufficient in Angola.
To try to iterate on a brother who called in and speak, no. Again, like Brother Rashid spoke, it's not so much rehabilitation that they was looking for when they lock you up. This stems all the way from the, from when slavery was ended, which is a topic we're going to get further into, It was designed for us to be captured, and so they can retain free labor, to be honest with you, they seen a way where they could continue slavery in a different form. And so rehabilitation only came later on in a more modern day society and more modern day prison time, whereas we was able to educate ourselves, through the different little program that was established in in those places they call prisons. So it wasn't never meant for us to be, to rehabilitate ourselves. It was for punishment and financial gain. And if we can just look back into, the 13th Amendment, where they say that slavery is abolished unless you were sentenced to a crime of punishment and you were sent to prison. So slavery, they found a new way to send you back into slavery, to answer the better question.
And the payment, you get paid, what, 4 cents an hour? 2 cents is taken out for tax, or around that number, or maybe 25 cents, I'm not sure.
2 cents.
It depends on what job you're holding. If you're in a certain job, as working around a hospital, you're paid different. If you're the inmate counsel, you get paid different. If you're in the field, you got paid about 4 cents. But ironically, and I had a friend of mine that I was speaking to the other day. I said, I'm looking for my taxes. For all the work that I did in prison, I want to get my back taxes, because in today's society, people may sound like it's funny, but I didn't mean for it as a joke. If we work and we're able to, at the end of the year, file taxes to get, some things back in return. So I think the state of Louisiana owe a lot of people a lot of money, from working for such a long period of time, and was not ever being able to, be getting the money that they was deserved.
It was so funny though, and it's like I was making 4 cents an hour in the field, and when I got into the law library and I started making 15 cents, it would seem insane on the street to so how excited I was to get 20 cents or 25 cents. It was insane, to think that was, but what it was is that the prison was a low cost. Like, everything was really kind of affordable in a sense, right? So to get that little extra money, especially if you made $1, you couldn't tell one of the guys nothing if they was making $1, for work, So, and you appreciate better things out here. That's what it made me do. It made me appreciate the job that I have out here.
Okay, caller, you have a question or comment? You're on.
Yes, I noticed that most of the discussion was addressing primarily their experience. But I look at I'm a formerly incarcerated person, and as you're discussing the problem of post-incarceration syndrome, it's obvious that it seems to be personal from your level. I'm a person that is seeking help because I know that I also have been affected by post-incarceration syndrome. What do I do to get the help? Because when I go to therapists that haven't experienced that, they're empathetic. But I know I find myself more comfortable with talking to someone that have experienced it. So where do I get that assistance where I talk to someone that can be sympathetic to my my mindset or my mental disorder?
Caller.
That was the question.
Caller, how many years have you done?
I have done 23 and a half years.
Okay, so let me see if I can ask you a question. Oh, you mentioned, you said something about we were speaking from an individual perspective. Yes, we can only speak about the thing that that we endured. So we were speaking from an individual perspective, but with a collective, things of we can put out about how to seek help within yourself. I don't know what part of the state you was from because you didn't mention it, but in New Orleans, we got a peer support group where we can come amongst each other and talk about some of the things that, we recognize as us helping us. Because the psychology division, the psychiatric division, they have no answer for the problems that we went through, the problems that we are facing every day during coming out here after serving so much time. So yes, we are speaking from an individual perspective.
I want to say that to the caller, I feel where you're coming from because I had 3 therapists and they wasn't really challenging me in the way I needed to be challenged. I was giving them everything. I was giving them the tools, but they wasn't challenging me. They wasn't questioning me enough that I needed questions. They didn't. They was playing on a safe field like they trained to do. Like they're not trained to question like talking about it, So I understand what you were saying by that. But the help is like we meet every second Tuesday and every 4 Tuesdays a month. We can send you a Zoom link to that. Another thing is that you have to constantly seek help through an agency, and you have to really guide the people who trying to help you how to help you. You have to guide that. You have to be brave enough to be transparent, to be vulnerable, and that's what I did. I was being vulnerable and transparent. So yeah, I understand what you're saying, brother, and we'll leave information for you to be able to contact us and sit in those settings with guys around us that we talk about issues all the time.
And not only that, we have been in prisons. I know you've been in prison for a while, and I have been there also. And the point is that in prison we didn't have psychologists. And out here you say you met a couple of psychologists, but now we have some psychologists on our team that knows how to meet people on their level. They're coming out of the office and to the field to meet you where you're at and address some of the issues that you may be needing addressing.
Yes, and this has really been another enlightenment dealing with the prison system. We do know that Louisiana incarceration rate is the highest in the world. Louisiana unjustly denies parole eligibility to many of their inmates, many of whom are first offenders. There's another, as a good sister named Consuela, and she done 20-something years, and she's with Vote of the Experience.
Yeah, Voice of the Experience.
Voices of the Experience. And they have a program that's here. Now, I wanted to find out, are there specific groups like women, youth, or long-term inmates who tend to experience PICS more severely?
No, Sister Khadija, it's not no group other than the group that, that we meet on every second and fourth Tuesday of each month that's addressing these matters as far as PICS is concerned. Mm-hmm. They got people around the nation now that are doing more research on it, to show the things that, that they're hearing and PICS and pieces about, post-incarceration syndrome. They don't have much data about post-incarceration syndrome. So therefore we got, we are amongst ourselves getting information and trying to put it together to send in to show people that, what's needed. We trying to educate psychiatrists and doctors about what's needed and how we can, help them to help us.
And it seems like to me they should be more than willing to open up with people that experience this. For hell and be damned, it's just heart-wrenching that all of these years, and a lot of our men and women, they are complete assets, and and when you have people that have done time like this is a real war zone. It's a real war zone. Who better than them to tell their story and to let you know that this is the way you can help me out. Now, when it comes down to trying to get housing, isn't that a major complaint also?
Yes.
Yeah, that's one of the prisoners' expectation, formerly incarcerated prison, when they're coming out in transition, housing, transportation, jobs. I had a job. I was terminated off the job because of my record. I went to get housing. They told me I had to be out 2 years. Where do I resident within those 2 years? Although I was financially established to pay rent for the house, it's still discrimination is still these barriers are still there. So we're trying to remove those barriers. Both doing a very good job with that. And then another thing with the fit clinic, we had guys that was coming out who wasn't getting proper medical care. We had this thing where guys was dying within 2 weeks after they get out from misdiagnosis in the prison. Now that we started the fit clinic, we are starting to I've been beginning to live longer, seeing better doctors. We connect them with doctors. We're trying to do the same thing with peer support. Connect them with doctors who care. That's our issue.
And you have it here. This is in a program that is needed. It should be funded. I didn't ask anything about any funds or anything, but whenever something is important to the community, we just about know we got to fund it ourselves. But hopefully, legislators would be hearing this and would want to get in touch with you all, Mr. Chasson, Mr. Boudreau, Mr. Pierre, and of course, y'all representatives from New Orleans.
Right. We have peer support. We have vote. We have the Fit Clinic, 472. All these are reentry projects that are people helping people transform back into society, transition back into society.
And speaking on what you were saying about the funding part, Sister Khadija, the formerly incarcerated peer support group has been in operation for almost 10 years.
10 years?
Yes, and we've been coming out of pocket. We never had any funding from anyone. Help, we had help from organizations like Varsity Experience. We had help from other places. But, actual funding, no, we have never had any funding. We are seeking that, but we are just now becoming established as a 501c, where we're now trying to seek funds and to help us along into what we're trying to do. We would be more effective if we can reach out to and start groups such as this in Baton Rouge and Lafayette and other surrounding areas. This is our goal. This is what we want to do. We want to be able to come out here and educate brothers on that's formerly incarcerated, through peers, becomes peer specialists, so they can hold groups such as this, because again, we went to school, me and Rashid, but in our group, there's no big I's and little U's. Okay. We always share with each other. I'm not no more grander than he is, and he's no grander than the next man.
And we have a very good curriculum that addresses a lot of things.
Keep on.
Yeah, we have a good, our curriculum, it exists of solution-oriented manners.
And that's the thing that we really focus on, because I can't sit in a room with people that can intellectualize the problem from different aspects, but nobody coming to intellectual the solution to the problem. And so this is very important, that when we get into these rooms, we need to always come with a solution-based mindset, because we can talk about the problem till we blue, but let's discuss the solution. And everybody can play a part in that solution. And this is why it's important and imperative for us to educate the community about this, because a lot of things people really don't know. They see everything on TV and believe that that's what it is. You have an opportunity to discuss things with people who actually live through this. That's very important, because your ideas are important. Your solutions is important. Your family members are important. None of us want to be a victim of crime, a victim of this thing that we're dealing with, but we're dealing with it, so we got to find ways to solution that remedy that thing.
Yes, and we have less than 3 minutes, I believe. We're gonna go ahead and let our guests give out closing remarks, and they'll be leaving their card just in case you want to get back in touch with them. And also, get completely comfortable because we're coming back with the second hour. We want to make sure that you understand and you get it the way you're supposed to. So we have like 3 minutes. Let's just go ahead and do closing.
In closing, I would like to say that, our work is never done. We consistently look for ways to better what we're trying to do. We don't have all the answers, but we do try to resolve some of the questions that you may have. So if there's anything that we can do, anything that you can add, like we said, we're going to leave our information, and so you can contact us through our email, our phone, or whatever. We'll be able to, it's not no one size fits all thing.
No, it's the thing that we may not always be right, but we can always be real with you.
And that's what's important. I want to thank Sister Khadija for even giving us this opportunity to address the community, and hope something that was said spark you to the point of being interested in helping your loved ones and find more about this, and even volunteering. We welcome all of that, and thank you. Yes,
and again, a powerful program we putting down for multiple areas. So please try to see the program. And brother Thad, you brought up something that was I never even thought about it, and I've been knowing about the prison system for almost the last 50 years. You mentioned about the taxes. That is something that only a genius in a sense could think about it. You have all my sweat and equity, and you're not giving me nothing for taxes. That is something to dig into. And so we're going to close out. We want to thank everybody that participated. We're on a time limit, so we're going to be finished with this segment. Come back in 4 minutes, Brother Shaheed. Yes, ma'am. Come back in 4 minutes, and we're going to follow through. Thank everybody that helped us out, participated. Vanilla Ice, Brother Shaheed, thank all of y'all for participating. Okay, Skip 2.